All week long you've waited, and now it's time for Kickoff. Fighting Chance Kickoff. Starts and sits, injuries, weather, and the latest news. No hot takes, no BS, just the information you need to crush your competition. It's Fighting Chance Kickoff with Kevin Tompkins and Gary Haddow.
Good morning, everybody. I am Kevin Tompkins of FightingChansFantasy.com. As always, Gary Haddow, also of FightingChansFantasy.com. My friend, how are you this morning?
I am doing fantastic. This is always the most intense weekend of the year, I think, for fantasy. I get that, like, the next three are playoffs and stuff, but this still has almost everybody in it. And here we are. Everyone's pushing to try and get into the playoffs, get their seeding right, all that stuff. So good luck to you if you've already clinched playoffs. Good luck to you if you're already in the Scott Fish Bowl playoffs. Good luck, Kevin, and a bunch of people at Fighting Chance. So it's a fun week. Let's see what happens. And for tomorrow, go Niners. God, I hope they win, but we'll get to that later.
Yes, we will. We'll definitely get to that. We have a lot to get into here. So let's dive into everything here. So first of all, we have just a few early games we have players that are out for. No surprise here with Detroit. Kenny Galladay is out again with a hip injury. So, expect your Marvin Jones, sprinkle in some Amendola, TJ Hawkinson. But DeAndre Swift is back out with an illness. So this is where you're going to have Adrian Peterson, Kerryon Johnson taking some of that receiving workload. What do you think here as far as any of the viability regarding the running backs in Detroit?
I don't think much of any of it. I mean, you're probably starting AP in an absolute pinch. Kerryon is like just a dart throw. You're hoping he maybe catches a touchdown. I don't think Swift is going to do too much in this game. Kind of nervous for the Lions. It's a bad matchup to try and have that whole, like, we fired the coach, let's go rally. But now you're playing the Bears, divisional, and you just got all these banged up players. So
yeah, it's tough. Absolutely tough. I mean, I don't really trust too many. Yeah, I don't really trust Peterson that much. It's a tough matchup. Kerryon, I will, just because of the receiving upside. But that's pretty much it. And then going over to the Vegas side here, as far as the early games, Josh Jacobs is out with an ankle injury, which is tough. But that's going to open up the door for Devontae Booker. A lot of people picked him up on a waiver claim, hoping that, maybe he would get the start. And it looks like that's the case. So I'd say Devontae Booker's locked into about 15 to 20 touches today, with some of that receiving work that he was used to going away. But I would certainly say that he carries some pretty decent RB2 value today in a spot start.
I am not as optimistic. I think he is a back-end RB2 at best. I think the Jets actually are a little difficult to run on. I think Jalen Richard will be much more involved than people expect because he has been out for the last two games. We've seen. I have a checkered past with Devontae Booker when he took over, and I traded a bunch of picks in one league to get him because I was playing the guy who had him and all this stuff, and it ended up he was just terrible for the Broncos, and it was one of the worst moves I've made in fantasy football. So we're gonna disregard my jaded past, but you're gonna start him as a back end RB2. I'm comfortable with that. I'm just not going to be expecting anything more than RB18.
Yeah, I get it. But certainly that's going to carry some value. So if you've got, flex spots, maybe even an RB2 spot, I would certainly, I do like that start. And we'll definitely discuss it because we have gotten a lot of questions and should get a lot of questions regarding Devontae Booker today. A couple more notes here for Minnesota for the early games. Irv Smith Jr. is out, not his usual injury, lower body injury. Now he has a back injury that he's out for. So certainly Kyle Rudolph in play today as a top 10, top 8 tight end. And then Alex Madison, not as fantasy relevant, but certainly if Dalvin Cook goes down, that's going to change it up a little bit for you. But yeah, and then we'll go over to Tennessee. Jonnu Smith is out with a knee injury. I do like Anthony Firkser here as a streaming candidate here because he does tend to run the routes and does not stay in the block. He's not the blocking guy. So that's why I do like him to run some of those routes. And with a more condensed target tree than most teams, that's something that I definitely like. And the highest over under of the game, of the slate. So What do you think about Ferkser here?
I do like him here. I think that there's going to be so many people, at least for DFS, just heavily overloaded on him because he's just $2,500. Jeff Swain, I guess he did have 3 for 30 last week, and Ferkser didn't actually have anything. I think he went 0 for 0. So I don't know. I'm very cautiously, I don't even know if optimistic. I'm cautiously realistic that who knows what's going to happen. But on the flip side, we've seen Ferkser do it before, and he's gone 678 and a touchdown. And I think this is a matchup where I'm really hoping for a shootout here.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should certainly get it here. So that matchup definitely looks attractive, especially for DFS. So yeah, somebody to look out for, especially with a very low. I believe if he's not 2,500, he's not much above it. So definitely something there. And then we have some questionable tags too. Guys that should play though, Julio Jones and Todd Gurley both should be playing per Adam Schefter. And then the Miami starting quarterback situation. Tua with his thumb injury for Miami should be able to play today. So likely for him to get the start. We'll get official word on that in about 30 to 40 minutes here.
I want to address Julio because I think we're going to get a lot of questions. I mean, I have buddy texting me right now. I have my own Julio decision. Do you trust him? Let's just start out with that basic question. Will you play him if you have him in a lineup? If you have him,
it's a dicey proposition, honestly, because if you need a win, there's no guarantee of him getting a full workload. B, he could. We've seen it before. He could be a decoy. So that's what is leading. If you have solid options behind him, I would play those. If you have to throw 3 sheets to the wind, I don't mind it, but just beware that is a possibility. That is definitely within the range of outcomes that he could be a decoy and he could just throw up a goose egg on your squad. Totally. We've seen it before. Yeah, we've seen it before. Could possibly see it again. I mean, he's not getting any younger. He's 31 years old with just a litany of injuries, especially to his legs and ankles and feet. So definitely something to look out for. The Falcons aren't playing for anything, so that just adds another layer of complexity to it.
Yeah, they're not playing for anything, but I think when you're playing against your number one divisional rival, you want to do everything you can just to ruin their hopes and whatnot, and their defense has been playing better. Like I said, I am starting Julio. I mean, but my options, just to say, sorry guys, but I could flex him and instead put Kenyon Drake or Benny Snell, Chase Edmonds, Cole Beasley, all those guys I could put in instead of him. Anyone there, it's half point PPR, just so people get a baseline. Drake, Snell, Edmonds, Beasley over Julio.
Yeah, I get it completely, and I believe I have him ranked as a low end or wide receiver too as well. So, yeah, but I would probably take him down a little bit more. I'm not very enthused playing Julio Jones, and when they have Calvin Ridley, when they have all these other guys, and then if you have solid options, those are guys I would certainly pivot to in this matchup. And the matchup's not great either. I mean, it's New Orleans. New Orleans is playing absolutely fantastic on defense the last couple games. I think they're going to shut down a lot of Atlanta. If and Julio, I would say him being a decoy is akin to obviously not playing, so that's going to definitely take Matt Ryan down a little bit too. I don't have him as a QB1. I don't think a lot of people do. I think he's more of a QB2. That can definitely bottom out your squad today.
Yeah. We'll come back to that question because that was an actual question for you, but we'll move on for now because there's a lot to cover.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have for Detroit, Matthew Stafford should be playing he has a thumb injury. And then we look to Chicago, Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney. Both are likely to play, but both were on the injury report this week with knee injuries. Nick Foles, we know Mitch Trubisky will be starting. Don't let the Packers stuff I'm wearing fool you. Mitch Trubisky is for me a top 8 fantasy quarterback today. He always has feasted on Detroit. Granted, there is the Detroit just fired their head coach, and now they're playing for Darrell Bevel today. But I still think with just the lack of talent on the defense, that I don't think it matters as much.
Yep, I agree. I actually am going to fire up Allen Robinson, Mooney, Mitch, and and Montgomery, I'm not going to worry about it. I think that they're gonna play well. It's a little cold there, but I think if you live up north, it's cold.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I live up north, and it is cold. And then some of the for the late games and Monday, let's go into just these quick, and then we'll start getting into questions here. Carlos Hyde with a toe injury. He is likely to play and probably will be behind Chris Carson, though he will get a few rushes here and there. I just don't think it's worth anything more than a very low end flex. For Carlos Hyde, Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the Sunday night slate for Kansas City has an illness, but they're going to check him out and make sure that he is good to go before you set your lineups. Check in with that. Just check out all the reports. As far as on the other side for Denver, Philip Lindsay with knee injury is likely to play, so that should take a little bit off the plate of Melvin Gordon. Anything to add with those games?
No, I don't think so. Hype covers everything.
Okay. And then for Pittsburgh, I believe that is the Tuesday, or I'm sorry, that's Monday Night Football. Ben Roethlisberger should be playing. He has a knee injury, but he didn't practice, but veterans, deference there. He should be able to play. We haven't seen anything definitive on that. Terry McLaurin should be playing as well with an ankle injury. No danger to either guys, but probably just some maintenance issues there. So, also Daniel Jones with a hamstring injury for the Giants. He will not be playing. That's Colt McCoy. Don't trust him as far as you can throw him. That ain't far. I have him where I need to start a second quarterback, but I'm not. I'd rather start a middling position, wide receiver, running back over Colt McCoy against the Seattle defense that has been playing very inspired the last couple weeks. And then for Miami, now we're looking at we're looking at Myles Gaskin. He's fine. We said he was going to be back. They never took him off of IR. Now he's back. I can definitely tell you he is back. Salvin Ahmed with a shoulder, DeAndre Washington with a hamstring, Breida with COVID. So now that just opens the door for, Myles Gaskin and for maybe Patrick Laird to take a little off the plate. But I do think that Myles Gaskin is just going to have a great day against Cincinnati.
I do completely agree there. Like Gaskin is a much above Booker for me.
Yeah. That's very fair. And then two more notes regarding Mark Andrews, who I don't think he's able to clear protocol in time for Tuesday's game. We have another Tuesday game because of all the shuffling last week. They had to shuffle that game over to Tuesday, Dallas at Baltimore. And then Lamar Jackson, who he should be able to clear protocol in that time. So I think after all that, I think people are done hearing me talk. What seemed like just a gigantic monologue.
No, man, it was good. I mean, there's just a lot to catch up on. It's week 13. Like, if you're not banged up right now, you're not a professional NFL player. Like, everybody should be banged up. It's just a matter of how banged up are you to get onto the injury report. So, let's jump into it. I apologize if anybody's watching and my Periscope says that my feed is going in and out. So, if for some reason you are watching and you're having an issue, jump over to Kevin's feed, which is K Tompkins II, KTOMP KINSII. Hey, I did it fast.
Yeah.
All right. Let's jump into questions.
Yeah, and I'm having issues too. I did retweet a couple of the links here. So yeah, I believe it's a Periscope issue from what I've seen online. So I know they're having issues. We will definitely check into those. But also let's check in with our good friend Axel Jansen here, who always supplies us with some questions here. Devontae Booker, J.K. Dobbins, Antonio Gibson, or Benny Snell for RB3 in standard?
It is really hard to go away from Gibson. He's just been so good. I get that I'm taking the guy with the toughest matchup, but I don't trust Snell, whatever. I mean, so then it's Dobbins. He's in a total timeshare. So to me, it's between Booker and Gibson, even though Dobbins is much higher up on everybody's rankings. I'm going to go with Gibson, stay in the flames. The dude looks like one of the best outcomes of 2020 so far.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Gibson has turned a corner there, and I think Washington's definitely noticed that and is starting to put more on his plate. So there, even though that could be a tougher matchup, I do like that there over Booker, over Dobbins, over Snell. Also, and then one more note here: James Conner should get activated, but I don't think he's going to be playing. That was the word here for Pittsburgh. So Benny Snell should get some of that work against Washington. It's tough against that front line. I don't really care for him as a play unless you're desperate and need a running back. He's going to get touches, but he could certainly split with McFarland. I just don't like anything over like maybe 12 touches for Benny Snell in that game.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah. Let me take a look here. Axel again, Allen Robinson, Antonio Gibson, Devontae Parker and Devontae Booker for flex and BPR.
I think we're both going to have the same answer, and that's A-Rob. I'm not going to go away from him. The dude, I mean, even without touchdowns, he's still been awesome. He's exactly what we hope for as like a top 10 wide receiver almost every week.
Yep, agreed. And I just want, as a funny aside here, you're just absolutely deep and baked into fantasy when you can separate Devontae Parker, Devontae Booker, and Devontae Adams, and all spell them correctly.
Even with a capital V for Devontae.
Yeah, he's got to throw in that V in there. But yeah, I thought about that last night. I'm like,
tip of the cap.
Exactly. Let's see. Our good friend Brian Drake, Special K protein or Fruity Pebbles, just woke up. Full bowl PPR.
Dude, I mean, Special K is from Mondays. It's Sunday. Go have some Fruity damn Pebbles and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Well, I mean, Fruity Pebbles is the move here. I think they're a great play today. They're
Especially
a great play every day.
If it's full bowl, then we're definitely going Fruity Pebbles.
Or now, but if we're talking about bowl, are we talking like a mixing bowl, or I think that's the only way to do it. Yeah. Like, remember forgetting Sarah Marshall when he just had the giant pour in the that's got to play 100%. Good friend Arctic Orange, Dobbins, Jonathan Taylor, or Amari. Pick one in standard.
I think we're going Jonathan Taylor here.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're going up against Houston, so that's pretty much just a baked-in matchup there. The only thing is Jonathan Taylor. It's at Colts backfield where it's hot hand. You better hope he gets out to like a 5 carry for 60-yard start, because otherwise it's going to be tough to watching that box score, watching the game, and seeing Nyheim Hines and Jordan Wilkins get those carries and. Yeah. So I would still go Jonathan Taylor, though. I think the matchup is too juicy there.
Agreed.
Yep.
Is Wilkins playing?
Actually, I don't know, and off the top,
I'll look and see right now.
Yeah. Hold on, I got it right here. I should.
I mean, he doesn't have an injury designation on DK.
Yeah, so I think he's probably going to be worked in a little bit, but like you said, hot hand. So
yep,
that's what makes it tough. So I got a couple questions here too. Devontae Booker or Deebo Samuel?
Devontae Booker and Deebo. I mean,
easy for me.
I'm going Deebo.
100%.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to go Booker.
I love Deebo. Dude, I love he's my start of the week for wide receivers.
I mean, he's so awesome.
I mean, he's not going to see Tre'Davious White. He doesn't travel in the slot. I think, they manufacture enough for him. I think him and Ayuk are just going to absolutely monopolize the target share today.
Yeah, totally.
Or, yeah. So, or wait, that's the Monday game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For Monday, I think they're just absolutely monopolize that. And I think they move Deebo around enough where they're going to avoid Tre'Davious White. I think Ayuk is going to have a little bit harder of a time, but I still think he gets targets. I just don't like his upside as much as I do Deebo's. Yeah. I mean, we saw clearly he's healthy. Yeah. I mean, if last week proved it. Agreed. Axel back in with Josh Allen or Justin Herbert.
I'm actually gonna go Allen here. I don't like it a ton. I think the Niners defense is playing really well right now, but if Bill Belichick can do anything, he can confuse a quarterback and try and take away Allen. But when I say Allen, I mean Keenan. But dude, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and Hunter Henry are just so damn good, and you have Eckler out of the backfield. Man, flip a coin. I don't know. Kevin, what would you say?
I mean, both have their warts, I guess. I'm going to go with Josh Allen here, just for obviously the rushing, and I think he can do enough passing in San Francisco. To kind of he's not going to get up to the passing upside of Herbert, but the legs do it for me. So I'm going to go with Josh Allen here, though. Justin Herbert, I should say, he can definitely pass deep against the Patriots. They have one of the lowest explosive rate passing totals. I think they're the third worst in terms of explosive pass plays given up. So I think that's certainly a matchup he can exploit more than a lot of other quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders, Allen Robinson, or Benny Snell for flex in standard.
Allen Robinson. Miles Sanders' usage has been really confusing, and I think that they're going to get blown out. So I don't know how much they're going to be able to use him.
I don't know if they're
used, man.
I'm gonna tell you right now, as a Packer fan, I don't think they blow out the Eagles. I think Miles Sanders is absolutely 100% in play today. I think he's a fantastic DFS pick. I think he has one of the highest non Dalvin Cook, non Derrick Henry ceilings today, especially against Green Bay. Green Bay has Wentz should be able to do a little bit more than he usually does because Green Bay has one of the worst pressure rates in football.
Yeah,
and that's the issue with the Eagles is their offensive line and Zadarius Smith. I don't believe is playing today, so I would go Miles Sanders. I think the Eagles are going to be doing a lot more on offense than people give them credit for against Green Bay. Green Bay is fantastic, but if there's one place where they do struggle, it's pressure rate, getting to the quarterback. Wentz is going to have time. He's going to have Zach Ertz today as well. So that's another weapon that he's used to. Not even, wide receiver, that gets 4 or 5 targets. He's going to probably pepper Goddard and Ertz today, along with, I would say Miles Sanders gets in there too. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Let's go over back to Arctic Orange, Allen Robinson or Terry McLaurin, half PPR leaning A-Rob.
Yeah, probably leaning A-Rob. I mean, we know that McLaurin's matchup proof, but that doesn't mean when you have 2 guys that are pretty close to equal, go with the easier matchup and the divisional one where you know that they'll do everything they can to run the score up.
Yeah, A-Rob is clear. That's tough. I love McLaurin. A-Rob is, I would say he's head and shoulders right now above Terry McLaurin. I mean, Terry McLaurin's matchup proof as it gets, but I mean, you can't do it every week. I'm going to pick this week for the week that Terry McLaurin becomes human a little bit, but you never know. That's what makes football great, man. It's just you can't predict it. Good morning, my good friend Fred Stone Flint. PPR need 2 Dobbins, Zeke, Moss, or Gaskin.
Good morning. I'm going to go with Gaskin, and that is so tough. Flip it. I'm going to go with Zeke. I mean, I don't know what else to do. Like, I know that you were talking about this decision kind of who you were going to start over Zeke, and I don't know. You're kicking yourself if Zeke does something, but Dobbins could easily do very little. So,
yeah, I think Moss is out. Moss is out for me in this in with these guys. So it's basically just eliminate one out of the 3, and I think I'm still fine with Zeke starting him. You just got to figure he's not going to. He doesn't have the upside he used to.
Yeah.
Though, if he can get up to running back 2 numbers, I'm okay with it. Gaskin, I think, is an auto today. I think you got to put him in. So basically, it's Zeke or Dobbins. Dobbins is going to have Ingram, and he's going to have Gus Edwards also working in. So we just talked about this actually before we started about the Baltimore backfield and how it's tough to, with all of these teams wanting to get their running backs more involved, the rookie running backs, I should say, with the Lions with Swift, Colt Taylor going right down the line, Washington with Gibson, that the Baltimore has pretty much been the last vestige of we want to keep our veteran running backs in. So that's what makes it tough for Dobbins. I'm going to go Zeke and Gaskin.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll agree. I am starting Dobbins in 3 leagues, so I don't want my bias there to skew things. I think he should have a good week, but
yeah,
the risk factor is so much higher. So if win him in type thing, then anyway, we'll move on.
Yeah, Zeke is that's the thing. We've been so used to just Zeke is don't even think about it. Now we got to think about it, and we're just getting in our own heads a little bit and galaxy braining. So, let's take a look here. Noah Fant, Jordan Reed, or Austin Hooper for tight end in standard.
I'm going Noah Fant. I mean, I think he has the highest ceiling of those guys, and I think they have all the same floor. He probably has the highest floor even.
Yeah, I go Noah Fant here, but I don't know. God, man, that's tough because Noah Fant really hasn't done too much there.
Neither of those guys.
Yeah.
Austin Hooper's getting like 3 or 4 targets. Jordan Reed's getting a smattering of targets, and now Ayuk's back with Mostert, with Coleman, with Wilson, and Debo. Like I just fall down the pecking order.
And plus you're going upside here too. So Noah Fant's got that in spades. I go with Noah Fant here. I think I have. Let me take a look at how I have them. Okay, all right. I feel better about that. Yeah, because I have Noah Fant is at tight end 12, Hooper at 16, and Reed at 20 right now. So, all right, I feel better about that. I've validated myself. Self-validation is good in the morning, especially when you just wake up. Axel Jansen back with J.D. McKissick, Benny Snell, or Chase Edmonds for RB3 in PPR.
Snell is the floor play. I actually think I like Edmonds in this, but I think that's probably the outlier one. They're all very, very all over the place. So what do you say?
J.D. McKissick, negative game script, likely for Washington. We haven't seen that in the last couple weeks with Washington, so that's why J.D. McKissick has really had those down games because they haven't needed them. They've had Gibson. So if Washington is going to try to put a dent a little bit in Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh's going to be up, not big, but enough to where it's comfortable. So I do think Alex Smith is going to use a lot of those shorter throws, and that's McKissick's game right there. So I like him to get 8-9 catches, probably for like 50 or 60 yards. A few carries here and there, but I think certainly in PPR that's going to make the difference over Benny Snell, who needs a touchdown to make his nut. Same with Chase Edmonds.
Fair enough.
Kevin Chubb, Justin Herbert, or Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I was wondering if Chubb was going to show up to ask this. I was thinking about this earlier before he even asked, and that is Rodgers. I'm going to go with Rodgers. While Herbert's been playing amazing, I think that Rodgers is a strong case to be made that he could be the QB1 on the week. I mean, that's probably any week right now this season, but I just think they're not going to be able to stop Adams even with Slay on him, and he's just going to go off.
Well, I'm going to take off the Homer glasses here, but I have to say Rodgers. I think it's clear there. I literally put those on just to take them off. Arctic Orange, this is what we do here. Arctic Orange, Javonte Booker or Terry McLaurin in the flex. Half PPR, half Booker based on the matchup.
I want Kevin to answer this one first because I feel like he's betraying himself if he answers this Booker.
Yeah, there's an existential crisis on the horizon here. It's tough, man. I would still, give me Booker, but I don't feel great about it. I think they're even in flex. Half PPR is what if it was full PPR, I would go McLaurin, but it's half PPR. There's no guarantee of a touchdown for McLaurin here, just based on that matchup. Though I think if anybody could score a touchdown in that Washington offense, I would probably go with both running backs before I would go McLaurin. So I would go with Booker here.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm only going with Booker. I'm going with Booker for the floor. Like that's why, because I don't know what McLaurin's floor is. I think that from a ceiling perspective, I mean, they're probably pretty close to equal. So
Yeah. It's the half PPR that does it for me. That's the clincher.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're with us, bear with us on Periscope. Just take a go search Fighting Chance Live on YouTube. If you're having issues on the Twitter/Periscope feed, because we're having issues as well. I know it's been in and out, so we apologize for that. Just hit us up on YouTube. So like I said, search Fighting Chance Live. Also on Facebook, search Fighting Chance Fantasy. You can find us on there as well. So certainly apologize for some of the technical difficulties if we've been going in and out here. We'll go back to Fred Stone Flint here. PPR, Damian Harris or James White also have Latavius, but have Kamara going.
I love Damian Harris this week. Hopefully I'm not wrong because betting a lot's on it, but I think it's just going to be his week. They did not even give Sony, I think, even a carry. I think he played one snap or something. And James White, yeah, I mean, he'll be involved, but I don't see the Chargers getting up. And I think last week, James White was a fluke with his touchdowns. So you're really just hoping that he gets some of the catches. Whereas Damian Harris, I think it's going to be a Buffalo game, 100 plus and a touch.
Yeah, I would go Damian Harris here too. Just, I mean, PPR, he's not going to be involved there. That's going to be all James White. Just so keep that in mind. But I think what he does on the ground will make up for that. Latavius Murray, I believe, has been RB8 since Taysom Hill has been in at quarterback. So that does add another wrinkle. But I mean, you have Kamara going already. I don't think you can really double dip here with those two. I would go Damian Harris here.
Yeah, agreed.
Our defense question of the week from Axel: Bengals, Washington, or the Jets for DST2?
So I actually think the Jets would be my pick. And then now if Tua's starting, does that change things? I think I'm still going with the Jets.
Yeah, I like the Jets too. And I think they have the highest upside of the three defenses here. They are the Stone Min on DraftKings, and I have them in every two of my lineups that I'm playing this week. So yeah, I would definitely go Jets here. We saw the Raiders just completely fall apart. Granted, I don't think they're going to do that this week, but I think that they can do enough to get a couple sacks here, maybe a turnover, and at least kind of buoy that a little bit. But you're really not looking for points. You're just looking for a touchdown. I mean, that's like needle in a haystack stuff. But yeah. That's all I got on that. Let's go over to Axel again for our kicker question of the week. Graham Gano, Zane Gonzalez, Jaime Fairbairn.
I literally have to go through my head and be like, okay, who do these guys play for now? I know who Zane Gonzalez plays for. And you ask about Gano every week, and I always think that Gano is with the Giants. Okay, and Fairbairn is still with Houston?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Houston. Just working it through in my head. It's going to be between Houston and Gonzalez for me. And I think I'm going to go with Houston. I think they have more likelihood to stall.
Yeah, I don't think Giants put up a lot of points, so I'm taking Gano out. It's Gonzalez and Fairbairn. Against the Rams. Yeah, give me Fairbairn. I think they're going to move that. I think Houston's going to move the ball a lot better on Indy than Arizona on the Rams, especially with Kyler Murray being slightly banged up.
Yeah.
All right. Got a couple more questions for you. If you're ready, we'll hit some up here. Alan Lazard, T.Y. Hilton, or Darius Slayton?
I'm not buying into Hilton yet, even though that defense is atrocious. I think I actually like Lazard. I think he's getting a little bit into his groove, and with Slay on Adams, I think that there's at least room for Lazard. Man, that just feels so weird. And who was the third one?
Slayton.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch Slayton. I'm not touching actually any of those wide receivers. Only Evan Ingram. That's it. Maybe and Wayne Gallman.
Well, thanks, because that's my decision that I have to make.
Which is what?
Hilton. I'm probably going to go with Hilton, honestly.
Okay.
Here's my initial thought, and I wanted to run it by you. So Vernon Hargraves is the top corner right now on Houston. He has no guarantee to be on Michael Pittman. They would probably go with Keon Crossan. So if that puts Vernon Hargraves on T.Y. Hilton, Vernon Hargraves is garbage, is terrible.
Yeah.
That's why Tampa let him loose after, I believe, a season and a half. So if Hargraves is on Hilton, which at this point they have no choice. So I like Pittman and DFS. I think he's just a smash play today. Ask Bo about that. Bo is just over the moon on Michael Pittman. So I think there's going to be room at the Hilton. There is a vacancy sign.
Yes.
I can't believe it is. We're not sponsored by Hilton. If we want to be, reach out to us. We'll definitely listen.
We got you guys. We got millions of viewers right now that would love to stay at your Hiltons. Yeah,
and I'll book them too. All right, so let's go to our good friend Kayvon over fightingchancefantasy.com. Standard League, J.K. Dobbins or Devontae Booker. Let's start with that there. Booker or Dobbins.
So I actually don't want to start there because he said, and then need one here. I just want to make sure that those wide receivers aren't in play for that same league because I would be starting Debo and Deontay over those running backs. But sticking to just the running backs, probably we're both going to say Booker for the floor. But in my actual league, depending on how it was, there's a good chance I'd be starting Dobbins. Again, I'm starting Dobbins in 3 leagues. So I don't know.
You're invested.
Brazen optimism. Yeah. So it's difficult.
Yeah, I get it. I'm starting Booker here. That split worries me, even though Dobbins has been at the forefront of the split. The ceiling. There's not much ceiling there for me. He really just has to go do a 75-yard run to even hit any part of that ceiling. So, and since that's such a outlier, I would go with Booker there. They are not in play different leagues.
Okay.
From Kayvon. So, and then need one here, Devontae Parker, Debo, or Deontay Johnson, and then Lamar or Tannehill.
I just realized it's just one. So Debo or Deontay, I think that's an actually really, really tough decision. I like Debo. He's probably a little bit more fun to have. Deontay is going to have some pretty tough matchups, like wide receivers. The Washington DBs are actually pretty good.
Yeah, I'm actually going to look now because I'm not sure if Kendall Fuller shadows or not. I know he's been one of their best corners. He's been one of the best graded corners, I should say, all season. Let me check that out here because that will definitely weigh into my decision here. He does not shadow, but it's not a great matchup for Deontay Johnson, though Deontay is an every week starter. I like Debo's ceiling here. It's standard though.
That's true.
If it's standard, I'm going to go Deontay Johnson.
Let's do it. Deontay. And then Lamar or Tanny. I'm going with Tannehill.
Yeah.
Shootout. Derrick Henry could still have 3 touchdowns, and Tannehill could still have 3 touchdowns in this game.
Yeah, the grown-ass man factor of A.J. Brown is definitely in play here today.
And Corey Davis. Corey Davis has been really good.
Yeah, little grown-ass man.
Yeah, and he was Jonnu running in touchdowns on the goal line.
Yeah, they're going to save that for offensive linemen. Because they seem to have one of those offensive linemen tackle eligible touchdowns every year. So this is the week. I'm calling my shot. Tackle touchdown today out of Tennessee.
I do want to actually add something there. Brown's defense is something that I have no idea what to do with, but Myles Garrett is going to have probably one of his best games of his career today, I think, going against the Taylor Lewan-less line, and Garrett's going to feast. So that being said, I think that Tannehill still is a good play because of the playmakers he has around him.
And then also Denzel Ward is out too. That is something to keep in mind too. AJ Brown will actually be shattered against Terrence Mitchell, who he has a solid grade on the year according to PFF. But it's AJ Brown, so the grown ass man quotient Definitely in play today. Let's go over to some more questions. That's a deep cut. Brandon Allen, Alex Smith, Sam Darnold, or Colt McCoy for QB2. And I've got a pretty definitive answer here.
Mine's not close. I'm sorry, Sam Darnold. Those wide receivers are coming along so well. Like, if they can get a real OC, head coach, whatever it is, like, I mean, those 3 wide receivers kick ass. I have Perriman or Mims in almost every single DFS lineup.
Yeah, those are definitely guys I'm trying to work in. I'm not working in Crowder as much because we saw the split. You know, we've seen Darnold just absolutely go to Crowder because he's had to. He hasn't had anybody else.
Yep.
Now with everybody healthy, with Mims, Perriman on the outside, Crowder on the inside, he's not as needed as much as he's used to. So now we saw both Mims and Perriman get 8 targets, Crowder 5. That is one game, but you know that could be a trend. We'll definitely see today. And then the Raiders defense can certainly be exposed in the passing game too. So yeah, give me Sam Darnold. There's just too many questions with all 3 of those other starters playing great defenses. Allen against Miami, Smith against Pittsburgh, Colt McCoy against Seattle.
Yep.
We just talked about that for Kayvon, so let's go over to our deep cut of the week from Axel Jansen, Kyle Juszczyk, Dion Lewis, or Jeremy McNichols. We're going to go to an old favorite here, aren't we?
It's a really deep one. Yeah, I'm going to go Juice. I mean, I don't know if you can trust anything from Lewis or McNichols. You
know what they say. It's Rod Stewart. The first cut is the deepest. So I'm going to go.
Today, bud. On fire.
I wanted to say Sheryl Crow, but that would have been like, oh, you stupid millennial. Yeah, so I'm going to go Kyle Juszczyk here. I don't have enough street cred to call him Juice. So, well, maybe a little bit now since I'm being seen with you. Yeah. Arctic Orange, Kirk Cousins or Ben Standard, leading Cousins. Sorry, Kevin. That's okay. Hey, that's okay. I'm the one hawking Mitch Trubisky at QB8. So
what's the sorry part of that? I don't understand.
Probably because I'm a Packer fan. It's Kirk Cousins.
Oh, Cousins, without even a second, without a doubt, I think Cousins is probably top 5 this week.
Yeah. Kirk, I don't know if I have him at top 5. Oh, I have him at top 10.
9. Yeah. You at 9. You moved Mitch up to 8. I told you you would. So
I'm the highest ranker on Mitch Trubisky. Every time he starts a damn game for the Bears, he will be my highest. I will be the highest of his rankers, and I am. Yeah, because I can't quit that matchup.
The only thing with Cousins, obviously, that everyone's worried about is if it's just going to be a heavy Dalvin Cook game. But I think that they're rolling with him. They like what they're doing. They have a chance to make playoffs, and like if they're going to be doing that, they also want to continue getting Thielen and Jefferson going. Further going. Not that Thielen's been lights out, so they both have. I'm not going to worry about it. And Ben, who the hell knows like what happens with that game? And Washington's a good defense.
Yeah, for sure. God, I think Jefferson is priced like $1,000 DK over or under Thielen. Yeah. I think it's 6,900 value there versus what the ceiling is just enormous. So I think he is probably one of my favorite across the board plays on DraftKings is Justin Jefferson today.
It's funny because I feel that way about Thielen. He's just so trusted. He's just so
no. I get that, and he might have a little bit higher floor, but give me that ceiling.
For sure.
Tessa here, Gary's good friend, half PPR, pick 2, Gallman, Montgomery, Taylor, Gaskin, Damian Harris.
This is really tough. You're picking all these players that I really like this week. I think we're both saying Gaskin. Man, that's so nerve-wracking, though, because of the other options. I think we're probably saying Montgomery for sure.
Read my mind.
And so probably Montgomery and Gaskin. But for me personally, I'm going to go Montgomery and Damian.
I'm gonna stick with Monty and Gaskin. I think there's less. Montgomery is not sharing anything other than just a few random Cordell Patterson runs up the middle. So he's going to get the passing work. He's going to get, I mean, he's almost a locked in 20 touches every week.
Yeah.
At this point. So I think you have to go with that, though they might not be as high upside. He's playing Detroit, so he could absolutely, have a 100-yard day.
Yeah.
I feel bad and kind of prognosticating that there. And then Gaskin, I think with the matchup, I think that almost writes itself. Also, Cam Newton in my super flex or one of those running backs.
Assuming it's like a normal league and whatnot, then you're just going to go with Cam. He has the highest floor or highest upside. I mean, he can easily throw 2 touchdowns and all of a sudden he's just blown away all of those running backs.
Yeah. And then probably he could match, the rushing output of those running backs too. I mean, it is Cam Newton. So certainly I would say a rushing touchdown is certainly not, you're pretty much figuring that in. So if he could throw a couple touchdowns and maybe 200 yards, you're already in, as a QB1.
How much do you think David Montgomery is on DraftKings?
He's only like 55, right?
It's insane. He's so cheap.
Yeah, I know. And trust me, I've tried to work him in. My lineup, I spent 3.5 hours on this lineup last night. Wow. Like I was up late checking this. I see why people just absolutely pour over this stuff. And right now I'm stuck on Baker Mayfield stack right now. Because right now I'll just go through it real quick. Baker Mayfield with Jarvis Landry. It's a skinny stack. My bring back is AJ Brown, Austin Eckler, Miles Sanders, Justin Jefferson, Cole Kmet, Brandon Cooks, Jets defense.
It sounds good.
Yeah, I wanted to get all those pass catchers in there.
Makes me a little bit nervous about Baker, but I mean, I think playing in Tennessee, it should be.
He's cheaper than Trubisky.
Dude, my favorite QB on the week is Mike Glennon. Like he put up like almost 302 touchdowns last week, and he's 4,800.
I thought about it, but I don't know if I can go that gross.
I also do like 18, 20 lineups, so it's very different.
Baker is gross enough that my grossness quotient. I mean, I'm at the limit right now with Baker, and that surprised me that Trubisky, who I've wanted to stack with him all week in DraftKings, is just because Allen Robinson is so expensive. So that's why that stack is not, at least for me, it's not valued as much. I mean, Baker to Landry, I'm not going to double stack it because Hooper, there's questions there. Kadero Hodge is out, so maybe Higgins, but I don't feel great about that. I'd rather just do a skinny stack, bring AJ back, and get all those one-offs in there. So
that makes sense.
All right, let's get some more of these questions here. And I keep getting notifications about StreamYard. Again, certainly sorry if you're having issues on Periscope on Twitter. But we're trying to go out our YouTube, search Fighting Chance Live. Same thing on Facebook, Fighting Chance Fantasy there, actually. So hopefully you can find us here. Let's get into some more questions. Fred Stone Flint, PPR, Dobbins, Zeke, Hines need to.
I feel like you just have to sit Hines. He is the most. Does he have the most question mark? I don't even know if he has the most question mark because Dobbins has a 3-way split. But they can easily just move away from him and just have it be a Taylor game. I don't know. Yeah,
I get it because even with Dobbins, I do think Hines has just the largest range of outcomes because I think he has the lowest floor. Yeah. Absolutely there. So give me Dobbins and Zeke PPR. I like that there. Our deep cut wide receiver question of the week. Gunnar Olszewski, Chad Beebe, Mac Hollins, Brandon Powell.
Probably Brandon Powell, just because he'll have the softest coverage. Chad Beebe, I mean, literally does nothing until he randomly does one thing. And I don't trust Mac Hollins, even if they're using him more, because I don't trust Tua. And Gunnar, I couldn't even tell you what his target share is like, so probably going Brandon Powell.
You couldn't tell it because it's not there. That's why. Yeah, BB is just too hit or miss without injuries on the on the wide receivers, so he's not in play. Between Mac, I mean, even Brandon Powell. God, that's what makes it tough. Got something going on here.
It's my wife and my 3-year-old.
All right, we'll go. I don't know. I want to try. I want to say Matt Collins here. I really do, but I get it. Trust me, it's deep.
I mean, they're all super deep. Like, you go with whoever. I think with Mac, I mean, if Matt Collins is going to do something, you're assuming that Gesicki has gotten moved back out of the slot, and now it's probably going to be more in line, at which point Mac's there. But then Tua looked more to Hakeem Grant when Mac was in. That was with Fitz, I believe. So I don't know.
There's so many chess pieces and variables. Also, I mean, for Brandon Powell's credit, he won't have Olamide Zaccheaus there, who went on IR. So give me Powell. But this is really just coin flips upon coin flips upon coin flips.
Yeah, totally.
Fred Stone Flint PPR, Miles Sanders or Myles Gaskin? Go for Miles and Miles on this one. Dad jokes to be here all week.
I'm gonna go with Miles Sanders, just because of name value.
I'm gonna go with Miles Sanders too. Miles Sanders is my RB start of the week, like I said. I just the ceiling is just, it's like I said, I think it's the best non-Derrick Henry, non-Dalvin Cook ceiling. I think he's just, Green Bay can't stop the run. Wentz is going to have time to throw, be able to put up more offense and stay with Green Bay. Granted, I think Green Bay wins, but I think it's going to be more of a game than people realize. So give me Miles Sanders there. Arctic Orange back in with Goddard or Henry. Standard have Goddard in.
I do like Goddard a lot this week. So, and I know I'm just looking at Kevin's rankings. He feels the same.
Yeah, I have him higher than most. I have him at tight end 3. Just because I think right now he is their best option on offense. Zach Ertz is Zach Ertz, but right now with Goddard playing, I don't think he's going to just get relegated back to that blocking role. Yep. Right now, Wentz's best option to move the ball forward is those two tight ends. So do I think Goddard stays and runs more routes? I mean, he looked we saw his potential last week when he was just absolutely dusting Seattle. So go ahead.
I just saw that you have Colin Johnson as our wide receiver 36, above Aguilar, above Mims, above Higgins, Lamb, Hilton. That's spicy.
I got a feeling, man. If they continue to go to him with nothing else to play for,
yeah. Where do you have Chark? 30? Okay.
Yeah, I think Colin Johnson can be there. More of a red zone guy, but I think he's more than that. I think he can. Jacksonville doesn't have anything to play for. I think this is a spot where maybe they go away from Keelan Cole a little bit. I think Conley is out again too.
Yeah.
Let me actually, speaking of that, Inactive should be out so we can get some clarity on.
There was nothing. There was nothing unique. Everything.
Look at that! You're already you're on top of the ball. I'm sure you would have stopped us here if.
Completely. I would have, and that was, we had just talked about everybody saying that we thought they'd be in and out, so there was no surprises. And then on defense, there were no surprises either. So.
Yeah, I will say one note that I did see here. Isaiah Coulter for Houston is out at wide receiver, and that is only interesting because that does kind of pave the way for Kiki Cutie to be that guy as the second option in the Houston offense. But they also have another wide receiver by the name of Steven Mitchell, I believe is his last name, who could factor in today. But I like Cutie a lot more as far as a floor. He's more of that slot guy. I think he's a wide receiver 3-ish kind of player as far as Cutie.
That to me screams Jordan Akins.
Yeah, he could factor it as well. I mean, I think he factors in a little bit more, certainly. But yeah, I'm just going through all these here. Got Jacksonville won't have Sidney Jones either, so Thielen, Jefferson, light them up.
Yeah.
Herb Smith is out, Madison is out. Yeah, I'm just looking through these to see if there's anything else, and there is not.
How do you feel about like Metcalf and Allen? the Keenan and DK, just because like they just have such tough matchups.
Metcalf can overcome any matchup. Not worried. Yeah. I mean, he's dusted everybody he's come across, and I don't think Bradbury's any sort of impediment to him.
Okay.
As good as he's been this year.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen, it all depends on if Gilmore's going to travel into the slot, because if he's not, then Mike Williams is just a severe downgrade.
Yeah.
So I believe I have, let me take a look at where I have Mike Williams at wide receiver 48. Because I do believe that Gilmore will see him mostly. I think the Chargers are going to do everything they can to get Keenan Allen into the slot and get him away from Gilmore. And just, I don't know if they're going to pepper him, because J.C. Jackson, their other corner, is pretty good.
Yeah,
he's not a slouch. He's not a Vernon Hargreaves type. He's been very, very opportunistic. I believe he leads the league in interceptions at this point. So
it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's a feather in your cap. You get to play aside from Gilmore, who teams are not going to throw on.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah.
I think that's my cue. Real few quick questions there. Waffles or pancakes? Do you like waffles or pancakes, Ewan?
I like pancakes.
Okay, so he says pancakes, Axel.
I'm going waffles here. I'm a waffle guy. Give me some blueberries. Give me some syrup or some butter. We're good.
And then Rams, Bears, or Vikings for defense.
I like pancakes.
Man, these are all good. I think you have Rams as defense, year 6
defense.
I mean, they're just so good. It's hard to move away from them. But
I like pancakes over the Rams, though.
I
like pancakes over the Rams.
That's true. I think everybody does. Because nobody likes being a Rams fan.
Not usually. For real though. Geez. I think I might take the. Oh, geez. Give me Minnesota. I like Minnesota here. I'm looking at this right here.
No.
Rams, Vikings, Bears. I have all back to back.
Yeah.
But I had the Rams over. I like the Vikings here.
I have so many Seahawks that I think I'm actually going to pivot on a Seahawks and put in maybe an extra Viking, because I have one. Yeah. I know.
You got time for one more question?
I do.
All right. Pick 2. DeAndre Hopkins, Darius Slayton, T. Higgins, DJ Chark.
Say it again. Sorry, I thought it was written down.
DeAndre Hopkins, Darius Slayton, T. Higgins, DJ Chark.
I mean, I think you got to go with Hopkins. It's hard to. Hopkins or Chark are the only 2 options there, and because of Glennon's.
So those are the 2.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Then it would be those 2. I can't trust Slayton with Colt and Higgins. I mean, it's doable. I think that all season they might have been giving too much credit to Xavier Howard in Miami, but Byron
you're
Jones
right.
is so damn good.
It's with an N. You're right.
Okay. So it's just a matter of who gets what there. So I think I'm still gonna fade Higgins and go with Chark.
Yep, I agree. Yep. Agreed. Those are my 2. All right, let's hop on out of here. It's week 13, so if you have any more questions, send them on over to us at KTompkinsII at GaryHetta1. We know it's a pivotal week, so we're going to try to help you out as much as we can. If you send them on to us, we will answer them. So, Gary, anything else to add before we hop on out?
No, man. I'm excited. It's going to be a fun week. I, for the first time ever, am betting on football games. I've never done it before. I randomly thought about doing it, talking to a buddy. So I have some parlays and stuff, which I've only ever done it when I've been in Vegas. So going through Bovada. So it'll be interesting. It's going to change a lot. And I can't wait till tomorrow. I'm so excited that I get to watch the Niners without having to worry about other stuff.
Yeah, just don't get your legs broken. That's all I'll say. That's the only way I've ever been able to bet in my day.
Yep.
Hoping it's legalized here in the Dakotas, the lawless Dakotas.
Yeah.
Hope we can get that. But like I said, send those questions on over to us here. Also check out fightingchancefantasy.com. Lots of great articles to help you set those lineups. My start, sit, and sleeper articles, my rankings that are updated at the moment, updating them right now. for myself and Gary, good luck in week 13. Hope you make the playoffs, and we will be back next week to help you set your playoff rosters because I know you're going to get there.
It's going to be fun, and we're going to do a lot more of an emphasis on matchup shows.
Yep, absolutely. So good luck, everybody, and have a great day.